And turning now to a nonprofit group that has identified 2 more police stations in U.S. cities with ties to China's communist regime. The newly identified sites are among more than 100 police outposts that are spread out across 53 nations. NTD's Arlene Richards reports.
A nonprofit group has discovered 48 new overseas police stations worldwide with ties to China's communist regime, 2 of them in the U.S. Where? In Los Angeles and New York City. Safeguard Defenders, a nonprofit organization, reported the findings in a recent updated report. The update identifies 102 total stations internationally. The report found the regime began setting up the stations in 2016. The reason? The group's campaign director, Laura Harth, told CBC News the facilities are part of a transnational repression network.
These stations have been established by at least 4 local public security bureaus back in China, the 4 we identified, but building on a pre-existing network of United Front Work organizations.
The United Front Work Organization is an agency in China that works to advance the regime's interests abroad. For example, they spread propaganda, conduct foreign influence operations, and help transfer technology to communist China. Harth claims the CCP is using these stations to surveil Chinese dissidents and force them to return to China for persecution. But she said the CCP's networks are also involved in other activities. A Chinese-American group in upstate New York is educating local residents on how the CCP is spreading its influence in U.S. communities. On Thursday, the Mount Hope Chinese Association hosted a panel discussion on the threat of the CCP. The panel explained the methods the CCP uses to infiltrate societies. College professor and former U.S. Army officer Sean Lin said the CCP is carrying out unrestricted warfare without guns.
For example, in the chemical warfare, you know about fentanyl, right? The China produces fentanyl, and then or sometimes the raw material for fentanyl and its derivatives and shipping to Mexico and then coming to the United States.
Chris Chappell, host of YouTube show China Uncensored, explained the CCP's information warfare.
They're trying to actively shape how Americans think about China. And they do this through tremendous control over American media and American big tech.
He said 90% of U.S. media are owned by 5 companies, and those companies all have business interests in communist China. As for the overseas police stations, Safeguard Defenders reported that law enforcement agencies in 12 countries, including the U.S., have launched investigations. Arlene Richards, NTD News, New York.